Donald Trump is clearly feeling cornered. His behavior shows a level of panic we haven't seen in a long time, and it's becoming harder for him to hide it. That panic is now spilling over into angry attacks on one of the things he dislikes most: the press. Over the past month, the coverage surrounding Trump has been overwhelmingly negative, possibly some of the toughest of his entire political career. In response, he's lashing out, posting threats, and going after journalists at MSNBC. Today, we're going to break down one of his latest posts and why it matters. But before we dive in, if you find this video helpful, don't forget to tap the like button, and if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps us keep bringing you this kind of content. Now, to understand Trump's reaction, we first need to look at the comments made by Rachel Maddow, who recently spoke out about Trump's push in Washington, D.C.
The homicides are down 32%. Robberies are down 39%, armed carjackings are down 53%, assaults with a dangerous weapon are down 27%. In Washington, D.C., the rates of burglaries and assaults with a dangerous weapon are at their lowest point in 30 years. Nevertheless, because he's so tough on crime, President Trump today deployed hundreds of National Guardsmen and women into Washington, D.C. Send the U.S. military to become the police force in Washington, D.C. The lead in the Washington Post tonight, quote, President Donald Trump announced today that he is placing the D.C. police under direct federal control and will deploy the National Guard to the streets of Washington, an extraordinary flex of federal power that stripped city leadership of its ability to make law enforcement decisions and could expose residents of the nation's capital to unpredictable encounters with a domestically deployed military force. A domestically deployed military force. Because tough on crime. You think it's really about crime? You think it's really about being tough on crime? Do you want to maybe track down the axe and machete triple murderer Trump just released to the streets of Orlando to go ask him if he thinks it's about being tough on crime? Or you maybe want to pop in to ask Ghislaine at that Bureau of Prisons crown jewel facility that kind of looks like a community college? You want to go ask her? Think it's because he's so tough on crime? That said, I mean, let's be generous here. Maybe it's not really just a generic tough on crime thing. Maybe it's specifically because it's D.C., which is the seat of the U.S. federal government. So even for a city enjoying a 30-year low in violent crime, maybe that's still just an intolerable amount of crime, specifically because it's D.C., and D.C. is where the federal government is, and maybe he's just really sensitive about protecting the federal government. Maybe he's really sensitive and really focused when it comes to protecting the seat of the federal government from any kind of crime. January 6th, no, forget about that. He's just sensitive about it now.
We're seeing a lot of Republican talking points collapse under their own weight right now. Take, for example, the claim that they prioritize law and order or public safety. The reality on the ground in Washington, D.C., and even more so when it comes to Donald Trump's controversies, tells a very different story. Their repeated promises to protect children, safeguard women, or uphold justice simply don't align with the facts. Those narratives are crumbling. On top of that, the tough macho image many Republicans and Trump himself try to project is breaking down as well. Trump's repeated embarrassments on the world stage are making that clearer than ever, something that was highlighted again by a recent MSNBC segment that left him visibly rattled.
And on the first overseas trip that Trump took, H.R. McMaster and Dina Powell called back to the press in the U.S., urging us to take all of his live remarks, because at the next speech they would say he's going to affirm America's commitment to Article 5. He's going to affirm our commitment to NATO, not just because we're the only country that's ever drawn out of our Article 5 commitment that an attack on one is an attack on all, but because he understands the value of NATO. No one has said the word NATO all day long.
Nope.
I mean, Trump didn't say it. Putin didn't say it. No one has said NATO all day long. And so I think the Kremlin message is that they recognized in Trump a post-NATO American president, which is just a gut blow. It goes to, I mean, you go to a baseball game in this country, a Major League Baseball game or a minor league baseball game, and if they have a World War II veteran in attendance, they're honored and they're given a flag by some player that isn't playing that night. It is who we are. World War II is part of the fabric of who we are as a country. And today we had an American president standing next to a ruthless dictator who got that American president to refuse to affirm who we are and our commitment to NATO and our commitment to this sort of post-World War II global order. We shouldn't, I mean, there's so much in the optics that are so galling that's where my sort of brain has gone, like a cat chasing the laser. But if you sit down.
Donald Trump in Alaska was weak, ineffective, tired, clearly in cognitive decline. So much so that his own staff was terrified afterwards. There are reports that the expression on the face of Carolyn Leavitt was shock and awe, like she had seen a ghost. It was so bad. And that reporting is the reason why we now see Trump lashing out once again. She will be fired soon. Trump declares war on MSNBC host Nicole Wallace. Donald Trump on Sunday declared that MSNBC host Nicole Wallace would be fired soon. It's not clear what Wallace did to get under Trump's skin, but the comment came after Trump posted "B. Louis" on social media without any additional context. The word went viral and led to confusion and speculation about what he meant. And the comments on the post, a MAGA account with a bio reading, "I block ugly Democrat voters are ugly. Cat women with a fake photo are blocked," posted a meme that includes the phrase "typhoid, marry Nicole Wallace, clown news, and Nicole Wallace is afraid of losing her job, get her all Lance." Trump chose to share that meme on his page, writing with it, "She is a loser with bad ratings who has already thrown off The View. She will be fired soon." Trump exclaimed MSNBC is dead. Donald Trump keeps repeating the same distractions. But Gavin Newsom made an important point. We can't get numb to it. Just because we expect chaos doesn't mean we ignore it. Newsom is showing real action in California, and other Democratic leaders need to step up as well. This is a fight Trump is pushing into the public, and it's time to respond. As Rachel Maddow explained, Washington is exposing just how weak his efforts really are.
That said, I mean, let's be generous here. Maybe it's not really just a generic tough on crime thing. Maybe it's specifically because it's D.C., which is the seat of the U.S. federal government. So even for a city enjoying a 30-year low in violent crime, maybe that's still just an intolerable amount of crime, specifically because it's D.C., and D.C. is where the federal government is, and maybe he's just really sensitive about protecting the federal government. Maybe he's really sensitive and really focused when it comes to protecting the seat of the federal government from any kind of crime. January 6th, no, forget about that. He's just sensitive about it now. Maybe that's it. Well, let's see. Today's Monday. On Friday, this happened. A sustained violent attack on the headquarters of the federal government Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. See all those little pock marks, those little holes? Those are bullet holes in the CDC. The gunman reportedly tried to get into the CDC headquarters in Atlanta. Security guards turned him away. He then drove to a nearby business, a nearby pharmacy, and took up a shooting position there. The Associated Press reports today that the man fired more than 180 shots into the headquarters of the Centers for Disease Control. More than 180 shots fired. He was found with 5 guns, including 4 long guns, and bullets that he fired at the CDC broke at least 150 windows. The bullets pierced blast-resistant windows in multiple buildings and spat glass shards into multiple offices. 1 police officer was killed. The gunman died as well. It's not clear if he shot himself or was shot by law enforcement. It is a miracle, obviously, that CDC personnel, other than the police officer protecting them, were not killed. The head of the agency that includes the CDC, Donald Trump's health secretary, Robert F. Kennedy, posted this online after the shooting. Then he posted this one as well. This is what he was posting the day after the shooting at the CDC, when a gunman fired more than 180 bullets into the headquarters of the Centers for Disease Control. This was the reaction of the man in charge of that agency. This was his response. It wasn't until later, and after he finished posting his fishing pictures, that he got around to expressing condolences for the, shooting or whatever. This major attack on a federal government facility, again, 180 shots fired into the CDC. This major attack on a federal government facility has so far garnered no response whatsoever from President Donald Trump, let alone an armed response into Atlanta, where the CDC headquarters is. But he did send in the National Guard to Washington, D.C. today because tough on crime, you think? Maybe it's not about crime. Maybe it's not about defending the federal government from threats, right? Maybe it's not about that. Maybe it's not about crime. Maybe it's not about any other thing he might voice. Maybe it's what you can see with your own two eyes. Maybe it's that he really enjoys using U.S. military force against American civilians on American soil and wants any excuse to do it anywhere he can. Watch what they do, not what they say. Because, given what else he's done on the issue of crime, does it make sense that him sending in the troops for a military takeover of Washington, D.C. is about crime? That's what he said. But what do you think, based on what he's done? Because meanwhile, while he's talking about crime, he has sent in the National Guard and active duty U.S. Marines to Los Angeles as well, right? Supposedly to save that city from protests against him.
It is embarrassing. And as a resident of Washington, D.C., it is extremely unsettling seeing Donald Trump unleash troops for no reason other than to distract and set a precedent to be able to do so in the future. But we gotta make sure he cannot do so, which is why we're fighting back and calling it out every single day on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.